Have you been taking advantage of the voice recognition capabilities that are already available on your iPhone? If so, I want you to consider this challenge. Here's a way to take that capability and hack it a little bit to get an ongoing assessment of your speech intelligibility. To do this exercise, we're going to go ahead and do it in our notepad. So you're going to open your notes, which looks like a little notepad. For me, it's on the second line, third one over. And after you open that up, you're going to open a new note by pressing the little icon in the lower right-hand corner. And then to get the dictation started, you're going to start the mic, and you just need to wait until you see that little gray line down there at the bottom. That tells you that it's actively listening to you and you can dictate. So what are we going to dictate? We're going to dictate a script. Okay, and the script is really the kind of things you say to others on a regular basis. And it can be really as short as a phrase or as long as a paragraph. There's certain things you might have to say either in a doctor's office or on the phone. And it can also be kind of colloquial things you might say to your friends and your family. So the script I'd like to use today is name, address, and phone number. So we're going to dictate this into a note. So you'll say something like, my name is, and then you'll have your first name and your last name, and you'll say new line. So my name is John Dean, new line. I live at 4730 Table Mesa Drive, comma, Suite J200, comma, Boulder, comma, Colorado, comma, 80301, new line. My phone number is 720-398-1998, new line. And those new line, that's just a command that makes it a little easier to format it so you can read it. They're definitely optional, but I do like to use them when I can. So the other one I use frequently is new paragraph to give you basically two new lines. So when you get done with this dictation, it should be 100% accurate. If it's not, then you should keep working on it until it is. Now that is with a caveat that if you have a confusing sounded name or something that's hard to pronounce, well, you might have a consistent misrecognition, and that's okay. So let me show you a little video now of me dictating my name and address into my phone so you can see what it looks like in real time. And then I'll come back and show you ways to make it just a little more complex to add to the levels of this to make it a little more challenging for you. Start by opening the notes. Then make a new note by pressing the button in the lower right-hand corner. Then press the microphone to start dictating. Be sure to wait for the speech signal to be picked up. My name is John Dean, new line. My address is 4730 Table Mesa Drive, comma, Suite J200, comma, Boulder, comma, Colorado 80301, new line. My phone number is 720-399-1998, new paragraph. Now I'd like to make this a little more challenging. And how do you do that really? Well, you can either increase the linguistic complexity, you can move away from scripting towards longer form production or extemporaneous production, and I'll show you that in a minute. Or you can add background noise, and background noise can be real simple stuff like washer dryer kind of things, or it can be really complex background noise like at a crowded restaurant or something like that. So what does it look like in practice? Well, with the linguistic side of it, you start with your scripts and then you do variations. Instead of saying, my name is John Dean, new line, you might say, hi, I'm John. Or my name is John. Or with children, I'm Mr. Dean. Then you might add in some of your other common phrases. So if you've done any LSVT or Parkinson's Voice Project work, this is where your functional phrases fit in, and they do very well. Reading written materials is pretty nice. I'm stealing this idea in whole from Dr. Fox. I heard her lecture about this. Reading junk mail is very interesting because it's always different and there's always some interesting kind of twist in there. And if you want to make it a little more challenging, you can even read the punctuation. So you could say, you may already be a winner, exclamation point, new paragraph, and then start going through it like that. Now with extemporaneous speech, be a little bit careful because you get into a law of diminishing returns. At some point, the kind of speech you have to produce in order to be intelligible to the device is going to be too stilted for the kind of speech you would use when you're talking with one of your family members or someone in a healthcare setting or whatever. So, because you're not putting the punctuations and then other stuff in there, it makes it a little bit weird and it has a harder time recognizing it. So realize that you get to a law of diminishing returns. Now, to add to the noise level, obviously you start this in a quiet room, but then very easily, if you have the dishwasher on or a washer dryer, that's a great source of white noise. And you'll be pretty amazed at how well this filters out those white noise. I mean, they're using some kind of bandpass filter to basically eliminate speech signals or signals that are not within the speech spectrum. So the next thing I might consider is adding background radio or television, particularly with a public speaker. So, that can be NPR or that can be Fox News or wherever you are in the continuum of media. Just turn it on, make it pretty loud, and then try this exercise with that speech signal in the background, and it will have a harder time discriminating. As a matter of fact, if you wanted to test it, you could turn on the radio or the television and turn on the microphone, and you'll be amazed at how accurate it is, with a couple caveats. But those are really great speakers. People who do this for a living usually have very good articulation and production. So finally, the last challenge I might consider would be to add crowd noise. And so if you happen to be out in a stadium or in some kind of public environment or at a restaurant, you can try this out. Now, I want to be real clear that I don't think you should be dictating your personal information out in public. And if you want to try this with even more sensitive information like a social security number or something like that, definitely don't do this in public. And for that matter, don't save these notes. Get rid of them. You don't need to have them on your phone. But a crowd might be a nice place to try this in a more naturalistic way. So you could send a text to your spouse or one of your children saying, something like, hey, comma, thinking of you, period, wish you were here, smiley face. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. Did you know that you can dictate emoticons? I think that's really funny. Everyone at work thinks this is hilarious when I do it, but you can do smiley face, and you can do frowny face, and you can do winky face. And if you know of any others, I'm all ears. So I'm going to leave that here for now. Go ahead and try this out. And the way to hack this a little bit is to try it first in its natural, most simplistic state. Make sure you can do that 100% accurate. And then maybe try it at different times throughout the day to see if there's any fluctuations in your intelligibility. And if your nails from the get-go, or you get to a point where you're always able to do it at 100% accuracy, start adding the variations. Start making it more complex. Start adding background noise and seeing what you can get away with. Again, I did this before, and I recorded all these. I didn't put them in here because it was tiresome to listen to. But I tried it with the dishwasher, and I tried it with the speech in the background, and I was amazed that I could always get 100% accuracy if I'm careful.